Hey guys, Richard here again from Trollline Fishing with another one of these kind of how-to videos. First off, I'm not a professional. You should seek help, medical help, or medical attention if this ever happens. This is just something that I would do. Does not mean you should do it or to somebody else. So please seek the proper help. So today's video is kind of about what happened to Steve recently. So Steve got one of these bad boys in his leg. Full hook in. Luckily enough, he didn't get the other two in his leg because it would have been an absolute disaster. You can see as the thumbnail of the video is his leg. So one thing that he did, he didn't have to go to the hospital, which some people would. He lucky enough, it was a brand new hook that he had done it to. You might want to think about getting a tetanus shot if this happens to you because it could be dangerous. There is a lot of bacteria in water. Even though it's fresh water, it's clean, there's still bacteria. That's why you can't always consume the water in some lakes. I drink my lake water sometimes when I brush my teeth, but I wouldn't suggest drinking it on a regular basis. So, anyways, this hook got into his leg, size 7 or 8, whatever it was. It was a spinner. So what happened was it was in his leg and partially still in. So first thing he did is that he snipped off the other two that were not near him as close as he could so that there was less hook there. Then this is probably the most painful part, which you're going to want to get some alcohol rub and stuff on your wound immediately before you start doing this. And I would even sterilize your tools. You got to remember, these are going in the fish's mouth. This is if you're on a boat. You can put these in a fish's mouth. You should have a first aid kit on board. That's the other thing I should probably bring aboard. That was something I should have actually said in my must-to when muskie fishing, because muskie can get at you. They're bastards. And, Steve's been bit before. We've almost had hooks in our hand. We bought the gloves now so that we can kind of feel a little bit safer, that the gloves protecting us a bit. But so anyways, you would cut each of the barbs that are out. Now the painful part is you have to push enough so this barb, if you notice on the hook, if I can get it to focus, and I need a background essentially, if you see that little hook there, that is what's going to stop it from coming back out. So you have to be able to push that far enough through, which you're already in a huge amount of pain. So you'd have to pop that out and go from there. Essentially is once you pop it out, you'd cut this hook here with your bolt cutters, right? And then you would have to go back and out, and then you'd have to sterilize your cut, and you'd also have to bandage it immediately. Like I said, you should seek medical attention. You should get help. I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving a suggestion. If you're on a boat in water and you don't want to, I'm not going to say ruin a fishing weekend, because, you might be there for a fishing weekend and, Lake St. Clair, you're there for a 4-day trip and Steve hooks himself in day 1. I'm the kind of guy that would drop him off at the ER and I'd pick him up on day 4 when I leave. So you might be in a similar situation to that. So I guess what I'm saying is it's just a little way to help yourself. But now if the hook is in too deep, don't go crazy trying to get it out. Go seek help. But even from what I understand, this is actually another thing from what I've heard. Bring your bolt cutters with you. They don't have anything to cut the hooks at the hospital. They'll freeze it and then try to pull it out that way. So if you actually have bolt cutters, you might be able to actually help them. Crazy to think that they wouldn't have these, but it makes sense. How often they're going to cut hooks out. But yeah, that's just something I would really be careful of, because these things are sharp. And, you might get it in a finger, in your palm. Steve got it in his leg at home. If you're ever out on the boat and that happens, and, you have the proper health supplies to make it through the rest of that day, you can cut the hooks, wrap it up really good. Make sure you have I have alcohol for when I'm working with epoxies, but it's like 80 proof. I wouldn't get 80 proof because that stuff will sting. Get the proper antibacterial stuff. Lather it on. Constantly change your dressing every hour, even on the water if you're there for a full day, let's say. And then I would highly recommend looking to get a tetanus shot. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doctor. You don't need to go immediately to get a tetanus shot, but I believe you should get one depending on the situation. So in Steve's situation, he was lucky because it was a brand new hook on a brand new rod. Or lure, sorry. He hadn't even put it in the water yet. So I don't know if it's even been water tested. It's a spinnerbait. And Yeah, he stabbed himself pretty good. I laugh at him for it because he had it hanging on a bucket. And I used to have something he called the death bucket. It was where I had all my rubber baits, my pounders, my bolda, all of them hanging by a single hook. And he used to call it the death bucket because the hook on the side was dangerous. I didn't cut slits into my bucket. I just hung them there and said, Bob's your uncle. And he used to hook his pants on it all the time. So then I made my big box, as you saw in the previous video with the ease troughs. And I said, all right, you can't get hurt now, don't blame me. And then he hooked himself on his own death bucket, so that was pretty funny. But make sure you guys stay safe. It's just a small thing, I guess. You know, if you ever get a hook in your leg or in your hand when you're muskie fishing or any type of fishing, predator fishing, bass, whatever it is. Usually it's predator because they're so big, these hooks. But just that if you want to prolong your hospital visit, if you need to go to the hospital, that's probably the way to do it. So, like I said, not a doctor. Make sure you see a doctor if that happens. Just hopefully I can extend your fishing trip if it ever does happen. This is Richard. See you guys later. See ya.